So, per Shams, Joel Embiid has been suspended for 3 games for the altercation of shoving a columnist in a post-game locker room. Now, I was out of commission when this transpired, but in summation of what happened, this columnist decided to haphazardly bring up Joel Embiid's deceased brother in referencing his inability of playing games. This man might need a factory reset for his brain, because I don't know how you go in to start talking about how Joel Embiid named his son after his brother who died in an automobile accident and then say, well, in order to be great at your job, you first have to show up to work.
Hey, listen. You didn't need to post that.
He must have hit his head so hard on a stop sign on the way to work that it started saying green for go, and he thought what he was doing was okay. This kind of reminds me of when Skip tweeted an absurdity about Damar Hamlin and what he was going through right there on the field for all of us to see. But in this case, this columnist went out of their way to bring up a past traumatic event for the sake of constructing a basketball argument in the way of criticism to Embiid's lack of playtime. And if you want to really read between the lines and what he said, if I'm Embiid, I would feel as though you're trying to make the illusion that I'm somehow disrespecting my late brother's memory and my son in tandem by my not playing games, or I'm doing them a disservice. He often says that he wants to be great and leave a legacy for the boy named after his little brother. Well, in order to be great at your job, you first have to show up to work. Ergo, in your eyes, I'm not doing right by my son and by extension, my late brother? As a columnist, he should be ashamed of himself. And as a result of this, in a post-game, Embiid went over and shoved him. I'm surprised that's all he did to him. Now, I don't condone putting hands on people because of words, but I'm not going to feel that much sympathy for the individual in question who uttered these statements. What one defines as disrespect varies from person to person. I do, however, believe there is a universal line of disrespect, and in many cases it begins with people's loved ones, family, kids, especially talking about those who are no longer with us. Once you go into that territory, don't be surprised at what comes out of it.
See, as you can see, the more you fuck around, the more you're going to find out.
This is Marcus Hayes, the columnist in question. He's been very dogmatic in his attacks towards the 76ers organization, and a good amount of it I agreed with him on, but talking about and bringing up a man's deceased little brother, I don't know how you think that's okay. I don't know how anyone can condone that. I don't know how that isn't seen as out of bounds to him as he constructed this column. He was completely and utterly wrong for what he did. If they did happen to fire him over it, I wouldn't feel bad. But again, putting your hands on another individual because of words isn't right either. These words, however, understandable, but still isn't right. So in total, Embiid is going to be missing 3 games. This is going to cost him over $1 million or more, I believe. But the ones who suffer the most in this situation are basically the fans of the 76ers, as well as the teammates, who now find their team 1-5. The only team worse in the East than the 76ers are the Bucks, and we will get to them. We will get to them very soon. My belief is that anything pertaining to the game of basketball and what can possibly affect it long-term, your conduct and candor as you hit the court, how you carry yourself, how you manage your overall health and wellness is fair game. And it also depends how you do it too. If this tragedy had just befell Embiid, I can see it being relevant and bringing up as something that could affect Embiid's play, but even then you have to do so with some level of tact, some level of empathy. And I think most people would understand if that were the case right now. That player and individual would deserve to be cut some slack. But some people get this aura or shield or force field of invulnerability that you just can't say anything about them when something bad happens, period, even though it may be true. Not saying this is in Embiid's case, but in others, I've seen some things happen and then it just automatically retcons or excuses anything which is something I don't like, but you also have to read the room. You have to know when certain things are okay to say and what things aren't. For example, don't go to a hospital when somebody is on life support fighting for their life saying, "Oh yeah, you sleeping real good right now, ain't you? But when you was playing that loud ass music above me, I couldn't get no sleep and I had to get up for work at 7 in the morning." People's like, what are you doing this right now for? What's the matter with you? In closing, there's a time and place for everything, and there are certain lines that shouldn't be crossed, especially for something as infinitesimal as basketball in comparison to someone's life. And this columnist, he must have been the type of kid that he colored outside the lines when he was little, because he don't respect lines at all. I offer my sincere sympathies and condolences to Embiid, even though this took place a few years ago. I myself have experience in losing a loved one, being my mother, and I have a little brother, and I couldn't imagine living life without him. So seeing Embiid be subjected to such an unscrupulous statement by an uncaring asshole, it's really shameful and completely classless. So that's all I have to say. Share your thoughts below on this situation, and what do you think? Do you think this columnist was in the right? I don't see how. Do you think there's something I said that was wrong? You feel needs more credence or something that should have been explained better? Let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe if you are new, and I will see you all in the next one.